Starting from zero, I blew up this YouTube channel fast. With nearly 1 million views in the first 7 weeks, it was growing rapidly, but I shut it down. In this video, I'll show you how I did it, what I learned, and why I decided to ditch it, starting from the beginning. So the objective of this challenge was to see if I could blow up a brand new YouTube channel from scratch with zero personal branding, almost no effort, and at extremely low cost, and then turn it into a passive income stream. Bold, but with the right strategy, achievable. Now to do it, I'd need to find the right overlap between low effort, reach, and revenue. So from the outset, I was building for growth, not depth. And after a quick bit of research, I thought I'd found a strong idea that hit all 3 of those criteria. Now, the big unknown was just how much it would be worth. The next step was to put a simple system in place. So I built out a content plan around lightweight compilations, created a standard set of procedures for the content creation, hired an editor with a maximum budget of $200 per week, and set a cadence of 2 uploads per week. Now, all I had to do was provide an update, a short list of ideas for the editor, and he would do the rest. No camera time, no heavy creation, completely hands off. The plan here was to build a content machine, not a personal brand. And initially, it went quite well. But here's the thing. Rapid growth often hides a bigger problem. I'll show you with the first month's data here, because almost immediately, this channel took off. The channel launched at the beginning of October, and at first the views were minimal. Now in this case, it took YouTube a week or so for the algorithm to pick it up. No external promotion, no existing audience, just the algorithm. Now once things kicked off properly, 88.2% of traffic came from browse and 7.7% came from suggested. For those who are unaware, that's YouTube's homepage or the sidebar. 30 days later, the channel had pulled in its first 582,900 views. The average click-through rate was at 8.3% and the average view duration hit around 2 minutes. Viewers clearly liked it with green up arrows all over my YouTube studio. But perhaps more importantly, I'd locked in a consistent upload rhythm. 2 videos per week, templated, streamlined, and outsourced. And the all-in cost, just $180 a week. Then on day 24, it crossed the monetization threshold. Watch hours, subscribers, everything was in place. 5 days later, on the 7th of November, the channel was accepted into the YouTube Partner Program. Now, when the email hit my inbox, for a moment, it looked like I'd cracked it. Fast growth, low overheads, faceless, scalable, hands-off. From the outset, it looked like a dream. But if you looked at the data a little bit closer, there was an issue. The audience wasn't subscribing, they weren't sticking around, they were simply watching and then leaving. And the money, well, that wasn't great either. I checked the RPM and it wasn't good. AdSense was paying just $2.70 per 1,000 views. Now on paper, that might not sound catastrophic, but here's what made it a problem. A high portion of the audience were watching from lower income countries, India, Indonesia, and the Philippines to highlight a few. Plus, almost the entire audience wasn't subscribed. 99% of them were watch and leave style viewers. Passive, forgettable, unreachable. There was no trust, no relationship with them whatsoever, and with an audience like that, sponsors aren't interested. Affiliate products won't convert into sales, and nobody wants to join your mailing list. Quite literally, the only monetized option was AdSense. Now, as I've highlighted in other videos on this channel, it's a big problem because there's little leverage and barely any control. Effectively, it's just renting space on someone else's algorithm. On the surface, it looked great with lots of vanity metrics, but underneath it was pretty hollow. It's a key lesson that shouldn't be missed. Not all views are equal. More on that in a moment. But on the flip side, it was only costing me $180 and a couple of hours of my time each week. With this in mind, it was time to get more tactical heading into month 2. I anticipated this channel's view ceiling being around about 10 million views per month. I just needed to repeat the system and increase the average watch time. Why? Because watch time means more ad placements and of course more revenue per 1,000 views. Not only would it increase income, but it would incentivize YouTube to push the videos harder, as long as viewers had a good average view duration, of course. So in month 2, we made a few key changes. We extended the length of all new videos, optimized intros and pacing for retention, and shifted targeting towards a US audience. Now, on the surface, this worked. Viewership crept up again and we crossed 895,000 views in total by week 7. The channel had also clocked up 29.8 thousand watch time hours and 1,700 subscribers. There was an uptick in the average ad rates too. I think we hit around $3.20 on average. Now, only 345,000 of the total views had been monetized via AdSense though, so put the channel's lifetime revenue at $934. Overall, the experiment was on a loss of $326. However, at a cost of just $180 a week, it was soon about to fly into profit. A quick side note, if you're serious about growing a smarter, leaner YouTube business, this channel will help you, so feel free to subscribe if that's you. The next phase would double the output to 4 videos a week, increase an average video length again, and hire a channel manager to replace me. But right as we were doing this, another problem hit us hard, and this one wasn't fixable with longer videos or with better thumbnails. On day 46, we received a notification from YouTube that a third-party company, external to YouTube, had submitted multiple takedown notices. Now, to be clear, I don't believe we were doing anything wrong here. 1 or 2 of the flagged claims were arguably fair use, and others were just complete fiction. Worse still, some of the videos they'd claimed were definitely nothing to do with them. However, legally speaking, it's a bit of a grey area. Over time, I've seen this happen before. Some of these firms that do this just don't care about accuracy. They're going for volume and intimidation. They make a stack of claims followed by a bunch of legal threats and know that unless you're willing to fight them in court, YouTube will likely side with them. Unless you've got thousands to spend and legal staff on speed dial, it's just going to be death by distraction. Now, could I have fought it and won? Quite possibly. But here's the truth. Fighting expensive legal claims for videos with $3 RPMs and no off-platform business is lunacy. And no, keeping it running wasn't an option either. Repeated copyright strikes don't just demonetize videos, they threaten the entire channel. Looking at the data, I believe that this channel could have easily hit 10 million views a month with a $4 RPM. The best part, it was super cheap to run. Now I know some people would love a 40k a month treadmill, but the upside was capped. AdSense was the only revenue stream, no sponsors, no affiliate revenue, no trust. Plus, I could just see that the copyright strikes were going to be a reoccurring threat here. So that's when I decided to make the decision, kill it and move on. A quick rule that I use now is if a channel doesn't have income potential of more than $30 per 1,000 views, a scalable off-platform business and sustained content security, it's not a business. Now that said, I don't regret it. A year later, on the 2nd of September, YouTube sent me a notification to say that the channel had been demonetized. And this is exactly why you should be careful with what you focus on. So in the next video, I'll show you 5 warning signs that your current channel might be heading down the same path and how to pivot before it's too late.